Test 1 2, test 1 2. All right, hello, sim fans. Well, it's a late night on a Friday night, so I said I would be online tonight. So welcome, welcome. For those of you that have joined me tonight, I do see a couple of you, so hopefully we'll have some more online. But nonetheless, appreciate you joining me tonight. And I didn't schedule this, so yeah. So this is just like off the cuff. Just gonna fly the new World 3 update here in Microsoft Flight Simulator. So yeah, looking forward to this. So we'll see how this flight goes. Haven't done a lot of planning. Not that takes so much planning, right? I mean, it's Flight Simulator, so why plan? Got my 60-minute Dogfish Head IPA, which is a fantastic brew if you like India Pale Ale. Delicious, delicious, delicious. Cheers. All right, so hopefully I am coming through okay. I did do a test a minute ago, so hopefully you all can hear me out there. And we'll go ahead and get started. We'll get into the PA44. And interesting enough, I did thought I had chose cold and dark, but that's okay. Last few times I've been doing cold and dark startups, so we'll just turn all our systems on here. Okay. And it looks like we're on the runway ready to take off, fans. One thing I was going to try. Let's go on the... Oh, look at this. All right. Let's see if this will work. Oh, yeah, see, I wanted to do... this is not going to work. Yeah. See, you got to remember to, if you want to use your Xbox controller to do the drone camera, if you set it up for that, you want to make sure that you connect that before you start the flight simulator. Otherwise, it kind of goes haywire. Okay, so I just I bought these, and this is my new cheesy prop, if you will. So for the first time, I thought maybe for like live streams, I would give this a try. I know it's corny, but hey, it can be fun. So try something a little different here. Bear with me. So okay, so let's check our systems here. So we've got GPS already set for EGHC, Land's End, by the way, to London City EGLC. And yeah, so hopefully, there we go. I'm going to take a look around here because this is a new airport as well with the World 3 update. So might as well just kind of check it out here, see what it's, how it looks. Not too bad. Not too bad. You know, I've seen some of the you see some of the airports that have been payware scenery, whether it was X-Plane. Sim fans, I think, yeah, we probably should hold short. I don't think this would be a typical thing. It looks like a pretty short runway for, is that an Airbus to take off? He made it. Wow, look at him go. Now that's funny. I don't think we would be seeing too many. Is that an A320? I don't think we would be seeing, friends, many A320s taking off from this runway. I don't know. I could be wrong, but call it a hunch. That is a pretty short runway for a jet like that to be taken off. That is funny. I mean, I didn't check the length of these runways, but I fly for real and fly out of Ames Municipal, and it looks like these runways are about that length. And I can tell you for a fact that I've never seen an A320 fly out of our little municipal airport. But hey, again, it's a simulator, right? So we can allow it. We can disperse with reality for a moment and see an A320 taken off from a short runway. All right, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Okay, we're gonna scroll out a little bit here. So our desired track today, sim fans, is 70 degrees. So hopefully you can see all this, but I've got it set up. I've got my controller cam, my Bravo throttle quadrant cam, but I kind of zoomed it out here a little bit so that you could see the TPR pedals a little bit underneath. You can certainly see the Alpha flight controls and then of course the Bravo throttle quadrant. So hopefully that's coming through all right for you. All right, well, with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. So we've got, let's see, we're gonna go 232. So 232 in a distance. Oh yeah, we got to set our desired track, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to set the course line here. And what did we say, 70? So dial that in at 70. So we're going to have to flip straight back and to take off here. I don't know why that's not kind of it's over there. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think we're set. All right, let's go ahead and we'll take off. Let's do a little trim. And we got our nav lights, strobe lights, landing lights, and beacon. We'll go ahead and turn on our pitot heat, turn off our parking brake, and we'll start rolling. All right, here we go. 60 knots, we'll start pulling back. All right, positive rate of climb. We're gonna flip that gear up and turn our track IR. And we're just gonna start banking to the right.
Charlie Papa, continue for east departure. I will contact you next when you leave my airspace. Charlie Papa, you are leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Appropriately named Land's End, right? Because we are at Land's End.
Charlie Papa, did you copy?
Oh, we better tell ATC to bug off. We copy. We copy. Now let's go. Let's see. We're gonna go right, odd, left, even. So since we're going 70, we'll be on a right heading. So we will go odd. Elevation plus 500. We're on a VFR flight, so we are going to climb SimFans to 3,500 feet. So we'll just keep climbing out. Until we can intercept that course line. So we'll just level out now. We can pull some RPMs out on the props. Pull our throttle out a little bit. I like to hand fly it for just, you know, a little bit of time, you know, before hitting the autopilot on, the master autopilot on the Bravo throttle quadrant, which we'll do here in a moment. And yeah, I never turned. Yeah, we got the transponder on. All right. Pretty close to 3,500 feet. Just a gorgeous day, even though we're flying at night. I wanted to fly during the day in the simulator because we got to check out the World Update 3 scenery. Throw on the autopilot. We're going to throw on, sorry about that, I'm going to disable track IR so I don't make you dizzy. We're going to hit the altitude button. And we're going to level out close to 3,500. I know I'm probably about 30 feet above that, but you know, it's okay. We're going to just leave it like that. And then we're getting close to intercepting that course line. So we look over here. There's our magenta course line. We're going to intercept that. And if I zoom out, we'll see our, about out all the way I can be. So it goes beyond London City Airport, goes beyond what we can zoom out here. But we're pretty close to intercepting that. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hit nav. Nav button. Nav button lights up. Love that indicator light. By the way, if you're looking at getting a Bravo throttle quadrant, or you have it and you're wondering why the LED lights aren't on, there is actually a utility you have to download from either Honeycomb or from Aerosoft to get it to work. And it's really simple. You know, you just download it, you put it in your community folder. That's where all your third-party stuff goes, and it should work for you. Although I have had some comments from some of you that even that doesn't work, and I think that might have to do, as far as I understand, it might have to do with if you're using the Steam version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I personally have the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and so it does work for the community folder for all your third-party stuff. The indicator lights, I can tell you, for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, if you have Microsoft Flight Simulator through that, subscription, it does work. As you can see, it works. But I think if you have Steam, you might have a different folder that you have to put it into. Maybe it is a community folder, but it might be a different area, and I think that might have confused some of you that have the Steam version. So just be aware of that. It will be a different location than just your root folder for Microsoft Flight Simulator, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, put it in the comments, because I don't have the Steam version, so I'm just going off of what I've heard and that. So, all right, so we can see that this flight's an hour and 24 minutes. How do we know? We go down to the GPS. It tells us right here. ETE for the estimate time that will arrive basically is 1 hour 24 minutes. We've got 224 nautical miles distance. Our track is 71. The DTK is desired track. So that will tell you, fans, if you're on track. And I don't expect a lot of people to be online here. I certainly am hopeful that some, I've seen some pop on and off. But I just figured, hey, I want to do a late flight, having a good drink, good brew, and thought, hey, you know what, for the first time, I'd go ahead and give this a try. So I might be flying by myself, but if some of you do hop on and off, you know, it's late, it's Central Standard Time, it's 10:30 in the evening. So probably not too many people are going to be flying with me here live stream tonight, but that's okay, because I'm going to provide this after I'm done with the live stream, and hopefully some of you can check it out when you're awake or not partying all night long. Check it out the next day and see if it's something that you're interested in. I'm just gonna check something out here. Okay, so we're all good. Just checking my audio, making sure that you all can hear me. If you wouldn't mind, I do see a few of you online. If you might want to just send a chat, if you would, just to make sure that everything is going fine on your end and you can hear me, that would be terrific. Got the moon right to our 12 o'clock. Beautiful. All right, so what we're going to do now, fans, is we're just going to go ahead and take out some of our mixture here, and I like to get that EGT to basically the left and right equal, just like you're spreading your wings. Kind of what I've been doing anyway. All right, and for the manifold pressure, 2400, 2500, that's all good. Yeah, we're looking good on the RPM and the manifold pressure, so we should be good there. Go on outside view, take a look. Beautiful. Beautiful. So how's everybody's week been? Hopefully a good week. Hopefully most of you have the weekend off and don't have to work and can take a good, well-deserved break. Hopefully all of you are doing well and staying healthy and safe out there. Yeah, Friday nights. My favorite night is Friday night, because you got probably a common thing, right? Most of you are probably the same way. You got the whole weekend ahead of you. You can chill out, do some simming, do some gaming. I do like Call of Duty. I've got a buddy of mine that he also has been very helpful in the whole streaming stuff, and he does the streaming as well. He's got I've got a link off my page, and we'll have off this video later, but Incredibly Meg Gaming, he's doing a really good job with that. If you like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, or Cold War, he's got a pretty good channel going there, and does a good job with it. He's trying to build a following, and So check it out if you would. If you're into that sort of thing. But I'm into Call of Duty, and I haven't played that for a while because I'm just, as I've been saying in other posts, I've been busy with moving rooms around, but yeah, I got to get back into that Call of Duty. Battlefield 6 coming back out, so I'm sure you've seen that. I'm super excited about that. I've always been more of a Battlefield kind of fan for first-person shooters. But I have to admit, I like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and I haven't played much of Cold War. I've got Cold War, I just haven't played much of it. But yeah, this is my bread and butter. I mean, I've got to post a video on American Truck Simulator. I haven't played that in a while. Oh, I've got the GT Omega frame. What do you call it? Wheel stand for my Fanatec. So I'm pumped about that. It's supposed to be arriving tomorrow. I ordered it off of Amazon, and they said it would basically be like next week on Tuesday, because it was like, well, it said it would be in stock on Tuesday, and then I ordered it, and then it said, oh, it's going to be in stock. It's going to be delivered right away. So it actually got delivered today. I'm supposed to get it already tomorrow, so I'm pretty pumped about that. Because the new gaming desk that I have, the Tessie, they're fine for like look at that. I'm going to shake our plane. They're fine for the Alpha Flight Control and Bravo throttle quadrant, but I knew with the power of the Fanatec and the force feedback, it would shake the shit out of my monitor and everything, so I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. So anyway, Sim fans, I do have that coming tomorrow, so I might have to do a video on putting that together. For those of you that are Sim fans for racing, so I'm pretty pumped about that. I have a G920 Logitech, but I upgraded to the Fanatec and gave the G920 to my son. Actually, I made him buy it. Am I a bad dad for that? I don't know. But anyway, trying to teach kids, you work to earn, right? So I'm pretty pumped about that coming tomorrow. So I might have to do a video putting that one together. So, but yeah. So that's supposed to come tomorrow. This box light is way too bright. So, I'm trying to remember what the model is, but it's one of those kind of like full-length box lights, and it's just too bright. So I ordered a couple of desktop LED lamps, essentially, that I'm getting 3 of them, but I'm going to give one to my wife to use for her meetings and stuff, and I'm going to put one on each side and see how that works out and see if it kind of balances the light. I'm pretty washed out, as you can tell. I'm not really this pale. I'm pretty pale. I'm not usually this pale. So we'll see how it goes, Sim fans. I don't know. So let's see, what else can we talk about? This will, so February, what is it today? February 19th, almost the 20th already. It's amazing that we're almost a year into this whole pandemic thing. It's hard to believe. My wife and I have been working remotely for the most part the entire time, and yeah, we're fortunate we can do that. I know many of you can't. And even if you have been fortunate enough to be able to work, it's certainly trying times for many of us. And the one thing about simming and gaming and that sort of thing, as you can tell, if you try to go out and buy, well, it. I mean, the Alpha, the Bravo throttle quadrant, good luck picking those up. They're out of stock. I think they're going to be out of stock probably until, at least what I've heard, till June, which is pretty frustrating. Unless you want to pay like double the price, you're probably going to have to wait until then, as far as I've heard. But then like the 3080s are out of stock. Good luck finding any GPUs if you want to build your system. I've built all my systems except for this last one. I did pre-built, and I really wanted to build a system with the AMD Ryzen 9 5900X with the 3080 card. Yeah, right. Good luck, right? So, yeah. So I think the only way to get those now is to buy pre-built. Is probably the only way to get those 3080, 3090, or the Ryzen 9 5900 or 5950X processors. So, but anyway, yeah. So we're all a lot of us. I shouldn't say all because we're not all. Hats off to all of you out there that are working out on the front line, so to speak, and making sure that we're all taken care of, and definitely appreciate everyone that does that. But yeah, so you got all these things for entertainment. It's all sold out. Xbox Series X, PS5. It's crazy, just crazy. I mean, there's even with the the silicon, all that stuff is like bought up. I mean, you even have some of the car manufacturers being put on halt or slowed down because it's just the demand is so high. Although the automobile manufacturers, you'd think that there'd be less people buying new vehicles, but right now, they still got to produce and build, keep the economy going and building things. So, but yeah, everything has chips these days, right? I mean, everything. Even your toaster in some cases. So, again, cheers. Again, I'm drinking the Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA. I believe Dogfish Head is out of Delaware, and they were one of the craft breweries that started early on and they've done really well. Rightfully so too, because that's good beer. Thing about that beer, fans, is can help create the muffin top right on top of the seam line, the waistline, because it's truly liquid bread, right? But that's so good. We gotta have our vices, There's got to be things that we can enjoy, especially in these times. So, but yeah, I was talking last night about the Charlie pedals from Honeycomb, and kind of anxious to see what those are all about. If you can see underneath, probably can't really see very well, but I've got the Thrustmaster TPR pedals, and well, you can see them. You can at least see the left one there, the left pedal, and it's steel. It's all metal, aluminum. They're full size rudder pedals. Like I say, I fly in real life, and they're full pedals, full size, and they feel pretty close to the real deal, which I really like. But you're going to pay for them. They're pretty expensive. So now with the Honeycomb Charlie pedals, once they come out, of course, if any of us can get our hands on them, I like these, so I'm not even going to try to buy them. I want at least one of you to be able to get the set that if I would buy, I don't want to take that away from even a single individual, because I am happy with these TPR pedals. So, but yeah, I don't know when those are going to be released. I was mentioning that in a video I posted yesterday, and I forgot to look it up. And maybe some of you know. If you do, throw out a chat. But I want to say they're second quarter of this year, but I'm not sure. I'm just making that up. I have no clue. I honestly don't know when. I know it's sometime this year, but yeah. But I would suspect that the Charlie rudder pedals are going to work with the, or they're going to be about half the price. And I was going to say I suspect they'll work with the Xbox Series X, because as you might know, Honeycomb is going to have their Alpha and Bravo throttle quadrant work with the Xbox Series X. And I know what you're all thinking. Oh no, not a console. We're going to have the console. It's going to be dumbed down, but Microsoft has said they're not going to dumb this simulator down for the console. They're going to stay true. We'll see. They're supposed to, but and I believe them. I think with the Sobo and their openness to all of our feedback, community feedback, and I have seen them. I was part of the alpha tester group. I was fortunate enough to be part of that group for this, and yeah, it looks like they're going to stay true to us, sim fans. So let's hope they do, right? I think they will. I think they'll stay true. And again, like with Xbox Series X and this being, you know, eventually out for that, if we get our, if we get the player base expanded, I truly do think it's a good thing. I had my doubts earlier on. You know, we certainly didn't want to see this become a Microsoft. Remember Microsoft Flight? Oh, what a horrible piece of trash that was. I remember a lot of us were excited. Oh, it's coming back, and such a letdown because they did dumb it down. They completely dumbed it down for the console. And so, you know, so there's a lot of skepticism by a lot of us, right? I mean, I don't know if you watch Captain Canada or, you know, a lot of Cat Strader and some of the others that are on YouTube. But I know they actually were flown out and actually part of the group that they did a NDA, so they couldn't disclose anything on it, and, you know, just to say, hey, this is something different. And so, yeah, they really did bring Microsoft Flight Simulator back to us, and that's a good thing to see. I've been a Microsoft Flight Sim fan all the way back to like Sublogic, and I know a few of you have as well. And remember the old Commodore 64 128. This is gonna age me, but I remember way back in the Commodore 64 128. We had a 128. And playing Sublogic, and remember it was the wireframe, so horrible. But you know, at the time it was like, oh, this is great. I can actually kind of fly. But I remember back then it's like, how the hell do these things work? How do I figure out what airport to go and navigate? Of course, I was a lot younger then, but truth be told, I got started in. I'm in IT, and I got into IT because of, if any of you remember a game called Falcon 3. And it was for the Commodore Commodore 64 128, and you had to like load memory high, like remember the high mem command, and trying to get your conventional memory freed up enough to launch the game. And that was like, I can't remember what it was. It was like 640K. That might be wrong. It's been so long, but it was like you were doing everything you could to try to get as much memory loaded into high memory so you could have your conventional base memory large enough to launch the game. And it was just like you hit the jackpot when you actually see Falcon 3 load and come up to the menu system. And I remember how ecstatic I was. I mean, the book was, I swear that book was like 4 inches thick. And yeah, so that actually got me into computing way back. I mean, I was probably, I don't know, I was probably like maybe 12. I might have been younger than that, sim fans, but... And then here we are, and I always imagined way back then that, like, someday, you know, we're going to be able to... It's going to look real. I always dreamed of this. Someday, it's going to look real like this. You know? But you know, back then, would any of us even fathom that would be actual satellite imagery of the real world that we'd be able to fly over? I saw somebody posted a video on YouTube comparing, I think it was a landing in Charlotte, North Carolina or something, but it was like a, you know, they do the split screen, and half of it was real life off the left wing of, I think it was an Embraer, and then flight simulator. Well, it couldn't have been an Embraer. Maybe it had to be an Airbus, right? Because there's no Embraer for this yet. But it was like the Airbus 320 landing like Charlotte, and there was in real life, and then in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it was like, which one's real? And of course, it didn't tell you which one, and then it flashed up on the bottom on which one was real life and which one was Microsoft Flight Simulator. And by gosh, it looks so close. Pretty amazing stuff. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk? Pretty amazing. All right, let's see. Where are we at, fans? We are 173 miles, an hour and 5 minutes away from London City. So what do y'all think about the World 3 update? Do you like it? The photogrammetry and the updates in London City and the Liverpool airport. Check out, I did a flight yesterday and posted it. Flew from London City into Liverpool. And wow, Liverpool, I tell you, I think it's a lot better than some, well, I don't know about a lot, but it's definitely better than a lot of payware that I've seen or paid for. So it's, but when you have the simulator just being updated by Asobo and including that for free, that's pretty impressive. Okay, so anyway, I played Sublogic and then Microsoft Flight Simulator. What was it? 95, 98, 2000, 2002. It was like every 2 years they were coming out with the Microsoft Flight Simulator. 2004. And 2004 is when it just like, I think it just, I mean, it was, for me, that's when I got into modding it. Probably like a lot of you. You know, it's like, oh, what can I find out there to mod the flight sim? And what can I add? Like, you know, a lot of people were, you know, community was really getting charged with throwing out like sceneries that were free and aircraft that were free. And yeah, that was a pretty cool thing to experience. And that's when I really got hooked, was probably the 2004. So it's hard to believe that's been 17 years ago. And then, of course, FS10. And how many of you had FS10? And how many of you, when you launch it, you thought, wow, this looks amazing? And then when you actually started a flight, you thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to turn down that graphic settings because I'm about at 5 frames per second. I mean, it was not, I mean, the graphics were pretty darn cool, but I don't know. I'm trying to remember what the GPUs would have been back when FS10 was released. I can't even tell you. It was after the 3DFX, which, by the way, I saw an article that 3DFX Voodoo cards are coming back. I mean, imagine that. I remember the first time I got a 3DFX Voodoo card, and I traded how many of you have heard of Jane's simulators? So way back in the day, it's like a lot of the military grade flight combat simulators. Of course, there was Microsoft Flight Combat, but you know, they had Jane's F-15 and Jane's F-18 and Jane's, I think they even had the Falcon. What else did they have? They had several other ones, but anyway, back in the day, I think I had the FA-18 James simulator, and a buddy of mine that I worked with, he had built a new computer, so he had the same 3DFX card that I had, and you know, the FA-18 one, it just didn't run well. It was very choppy. It was very CPU intensive, and of course back then you were talking single core and single CPU, and it just really didn't perform well. And I'm like, I'm not that impressed with this. So I said, all right, well, he said, well, I'll give you my Voodoo card if you give me your Jane's simulator. And I'm like, done. And then I was able to run SLI. Yeah, even back then. And I remember with SLI, you know, you got with 2 cards, I had double the memory, so I could actually do a higher resolution. And I remember how awesome that was. And playing, was like, not Quake. What was it? Was it Quake? No. I'm trying to remember the first person shooter. It was like Quake or... Doesn't seem right. I'll think of it. Beer's kicking in. I apologize. It's Friday. I'm allowed, right? But anyway, yeah, I remember kicking up the resolution, and I had a slight advantage over, you know, those were the days of the LAN parties. So some of you out there that before we had high bandwidth over the internet, you might remember the old days of the LAN parties. You have a bunch of friends over and get pizza and beer and do some LAN gaming. I miss that, actually. But yeah, I'd have a slight advantage because I had a higher resolution, so I could really aim right in close and snipe people, and it was fun. But anyway, point being, we've come a long ways, right? Come a long ways. Yeah, the other thing too, like, let's talk a little bit about the terrain mesh. You know, like the valleys, the hills, you know. I'm not going to do any mountain flying here, obviously, but incredible stuff. I mean, it's like, speaking of like, you know, FS 2004 and 2002, like there was some mesh, but it was nothing like this. Yeah, so this is, you know, just to speak about just the imagery in that, of course, but how about the terrain mesh? But, you know, X-Plane, truthfully, Ortho 4XP, for those of you that are X-Plane fans, you know, it's had the satellite imagery for years, but I just love the fact that Microsoft, I don't have to go out and spend a day or 2 days downloading all the satellite imagery, and then I gotta import it and overlay that on I gotta download the mesh, and then I gotta download the image files over top. Not that it's a huge deal, but it's time consuming. And the thing that more than the time consuming is that it's just the storage that it takes. Like I said, I've got 2 8 terabyte Western Digital Black drives. I've got an internal 10 terabyte, and I've got pretty much, not quite all filled up, but majority filled up just from the Ortho 4XP data, the imagery rather. And, you know, what I love about Microsoft is you don't have to sit there and download everything before you do a flight, and you don't take up all the storage, and so that's genius. You know, obviously, yeah, you need a good internet connection, or it's better to have a good internet connection. So there's always a good with a bad, of course, just like with anything. But I'm fortunate enough that, boy, that looked like it kind of jumped around there. I'm fortunate enough we just got fiber, so I've got a gig connection up and down, and got that probably about 3 months ago. So fortunate that our city's been hooked up with fiber. MetroNet is what it's called. And so I switched from Mediacom to MetroNet. So that's good. But you can still, even with Microsoft Flight Simulators, a lot of you know, you can download the imagery just the same for offline flights. So I really think Asobo's thought a lot of this out. It's like, what about those that have slow internet connections, right? We don't want to leave them hanging. They should be able to enjoy it just like anyone else. Sure, they might need, you know, to go out and buy additional storage to make it, you know, or have to keep downloading it. But if you have a slow internet connection, you're not going to want to keep downloading it, obviously. So, but yeah, I've been very impressed with the Asobo, and, you know, I'm mentioning as part of the alpha tester group, and I really did feel like they were listening. Not all the time. You know, you'd post something, be like, there is no response on this, and of course in the forums, you know, but they did a really good job in responding and updating, taking community feedback. So yeah, I always felt like they did a good job in responding to input and fixes, and they've I'll tell you, that's one thing that you know, they did a really good job at, is continuing to take community feedback. You know, between the alpha and the beta, and now even after everything's out, they really took everything to heart. And there's like a million things. I'm sure they were so pressured to get this out that you know, it's pretty amazing they got this out when they did. So there's only so much that, you know, that they could respond to, and you know, in any phase. And but they did I was very impressed with the job they did. But yeah, it's good stuff. I'm really impressed with the Asobo. I think Microsoft and Asobo have done a magnificent job really listening to community feedback, getting real world pilots involved. Obviously there's still, you know, there's still improvements to be made with the aircraft. I think the weather system too, let's face it, weather system still needs improvement. Air traffic, real world air, I mean, these are all things that they will improve, and I have no doubt they'll improve upon that, sim fans. There actually is talk, I've seen posts from Asobo, and even in an interview, a live interview, they talked about, the question was asked about like real world airline liveries. Something that I would like to see, probably many of you would like to see. And they are working on that. They actually, you know, there's licensing, you know, if you're going to have liveries for, you know, all the different major airlines and not even major ones across the world, you're obviously going to have to get permission to use their liveries when you're selling a product with using those liveries. But they're supposed to get, those are supposed to come at some point, is the plan, or at least that's what they're trying to do. And let's face it, even if Microsoft doesn't do it, there's either going to be, well, there's already a way to do it, by the way. There's already a way to do it. But it's not really great. Some of the liveries are backwards, and you'll have airlines that are, well, for example, when I landed in London City last night, I saw an Allegiant livery, and I started laughing because I'm pretty sure Allegiant doesn't fly into London City. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Allegiant does not fly into London City. I think they're pretty much only U.S. Actually, I'm almost positive they're only U.S. based. But you know, but I added some a third-party livery pack. It was freeware. If you're interested in that, let me know. I can post it in the comments of where I picked that up. But you know, so you know, it works, but it's, you know, it's not going to be true to life routes and airports and stuff like that. But again, Asobo's looking at that; they're working on that. So we'll see when that happens if that happens come to fruition. Yet to be seen, but I'd hope it would. Let's take a look at our map. I'm going to figure out where we're at here. All right, it's not quite halfway, but certainly moving on. So by the way, I probably been flying this aircraft too much, and some of you would probably like to see something different than the Carenado PA44 Seminole, but I gotta tell you, I've mentioned this before, so bear with me, but with X-Plane, Carenado, I had good experiences and I had bad experiences depending on the aircraft. But I have to say, for this particular airplane in Microsoft Flight Simulator, if you haven't checked it out, check it out and get it. I'm just going to say right now, because if you compare the Carenado PA44, if you like general aviation and you haven't bought this aircraft, for the aircraft that are available right now in Microsoft Flight Simulator, There's not a whole lot to pick from, obviously. There will be as time goes on, but pick this one up. If you're a general aviation fan and you don't have the Carenado PA44 Seminole, Piper Seminole, get it. I think it's might be $30 in US. There was a sale, I think around, maybe it was Christmas and that. And I think I actually picked this up for like $23 or something like that. But $30, it's worth $30. It's $30. It's not free, but I think it's worth it. Compare it to like the other aircraft that are in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's definitely worth it. Although, you know, with the TBM, there's free mods for that. Actually, a lot of the built-in default aircraft, there's mods for. So if you haven't checked out the mods for the built-in aircraft, do definitely check them out. And one of the sites that I would recommend for finding, you know, freeware and that, nexusmods.com, Nexus mods.com, and they have, you know, various freeware, and they definitely have a lot of the mods. And then of course there's going to be mods that aren't on nexusmods.com that, you know, for example, the King Air aircraft, the Diamond aircraft, and obviously fly-by-wire on the A320. That is a must-have if you like flying the bigger aircraft, the jets, the commercial jets. If you don't have the fly-by-wire for the Airbus 320, just make sure you get it this weekend and try it out, and you'll be happy. I'm not telling you anything you probably most of you that are watching, you don't already know. But hey, some people may be new to this. Some people may be flight sim fans for years and years. So just want to throw that out for the whole community here, because we all start somewhere. But yeah, check those things out if you haven't already, because they're free and they make the aircraft better. All right, I'm getting a little low, so you know it's a good thing. You know, we're talking about Asobo being geniuses. How about the craft breweries that give you close to 20-ounce cans? None of this lame 12-ounce BS, right? Give me a man's can. That's what I'm saying. Give me a man's can. Give me some volume. No pun, by the way. So, yeah, I see several of you online here. Thanks for joining me. Any questions out there? Or just, it's cool too. Just like, you know, hey, I'm just here for the ride. Just checking out the stream. It's all good. Hopefully I don't scare you away. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to post as we fly across this beautiful UK terrain. Oh, looks so good. Looks so good, fans. No, I haven't had, you know, there's supposedly failures for these systems, you know, for these aircraft. I have yet to see them fail. Which is probably a good thing, right? You never want to see that, but that's part of the fun of being in a simulator. If you have a failure, you can troubleshoot. Now you can, you know, change the settings in X-Plane. I'm pretty sure you can change them in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and, you know, and adjust those. But by default, I have not had any system failures. So, you know, obviously a good thing, because that would be a pain when you're doing something like on-air company. Which, by the way, I talked about doing on-air company and demoing that, and I did do a demo at the very beginning of my first live stream, but there wasn't an actual cargo route at the time I was like doing the live stream. I didn't really plan very well on that, and so you know, I didn't check it beforehand, and I already had everything programmed for the route and everything. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go in and do some cargo, and it was from, if I remember right, it's from San Diego to Santa Barbara, and there wasn't, and there's always usually cargo for that route on Air Company, and there wasn't. So I'm like, well, this is how you do it. I'm sorry, I completely failed at this. There is no cargo to be taken, and so I just kind of demoed that quickly, and then I closed out On Air, and then did the flight anyway, and you know, flew to Santa Barbara without any cargo. But now, you know, I've tried it, and I'm not quite sure what's going on, because OBS is like, I noticed when I tried launching On Air Company, and it's basically a separate program that plugs in, hooks into Flight Simulator, like so many of those types of programs. How else are they going to do it, right? And oh, it's getting like 5 or 6 frames per second, maybe 10 at times. I'm like, at first I wasn't sure what it was, because it was fine when I was in Microsoft Flight Simulator in terms of the menu and stuff. But then when I launched into the simulator, which makes sense, because although when you're in the menu system, it's actually rendering 3D. It's using your GPU, even for the background, you know, in your hangar. It's rendering that stuff. But it was okay then. But once I launched the simulator, and I was like, what is going on? This is horrible. Came to be that On Air Company, whatever it was really, it might have been the CPU part of it, but it was really dragging it down, so I had to kill it. And so I have not yet done an in-flight demo of On Air Company. I do like it. It's subscription-based. Is it worth it? I don't know. It depends, I guess, is the answer. If you're going to use it like every flight, yes, I'd say it's worth it, because it gives you an objective, you know, rather than just I'm going to fly from here to there. It's kind of cool that you can build your company and you can purchase new aircraft or rent aircraft. It gives you an objective to the game rather than just flying around. So if you're into that sort of thing, definitely worth it. There's other products out there too, though. Check them out. Now, when I got a subscription to On Air, there wasn't a lot to choose from. I'm gonna mention it in my next on Sunday, so watch for that. Top 5 weekly top 5 announcements is a series I've been doing. I've done 3. I'm going to do the 4th one, and been somewhat successful with all of you. But there is a new one that is out that you can get from Orbix, and so I'll be highlighting that one. I'm not going to be demoing it, but I'm going to be just talking about it this coming Sunday. And that one looks like it has a pretty decent balance between objective base and tutors of if you want to fly cargo or maybe passengers, but then it's also got, you know, scenario type things, you know, some scenery routes and things like that. So it's not just flying cargo or passengers around. It has more stuff to it. And one of the taglines for it is that it doesn't require a whole lot of planning. It sounds like it's going to be one of those things you can just jump in and fly and use, which is kind of cool. But I like the planning part. I mean, to me that's a lot of the fun. You know, going through and seeing like, well, what cargo routes are out there, which ones are the most profitable, which are the ones that are, you know, based on the weight and the distance and the time and all that, which ones are the most profitable. So I think that's half the fun. So watch for that, and again, that'll be Sunday. I'll highlight that one. Again, that's from Orbix. Do love Orbix. I really, really like Orbix. For X-Plane, Prepared, and for Microsoft Flight Simulator, they have a lot of good stuff. I still need to get a city for Chicago. They have a Chicago city, basically scenery, and looks pretty darn good. Of course, I live in Ames, Iowa, so I'm not far from Chicago, about 6 hours from Chicago, so I know the city pretty well. And by looking at the screenshots, it looks pretty darn good, Sim fans. It looks pretty darn good. It's a little pricey, though. I think it's like around 24 US, so as beautiful as Microsoft Flight Simulator looks, I think we can all agree that if you're going to charge $20 plus for scenery, it better be darn good. And, you know, there's stuff out there that is is darn good. But there's stuff out there, is like, I look at it and I'm like, all right, even though you're only charging $12 for this, it's really not that great. And even stuff in the marketplace, right? It's like, but you know, I give the developers credit because, you know, they're using new tools. Because I have, and I'm not gonna name the developers, but there's a particular developer that does scenery that I think does an excellent job. Well, I'd say a good job. I wouldn't say excellent. Like excellent, I'd say is Orbix. I'd say a good job and is at a good price and value in X-Plane. And that same scenery developer in Microsoft Flight Simulator has stuff in the marketplace, and I would say it is not so great. And the price point's about the same. I like look at some of the stuff. There's one package the developer has that actually looks pretty good, but I think they have like 3 or 4 in the marketplace, and I look at it, I'm like, who's paying even $12? Who's paying that for this? But the developer is I think is a single individual as far as I know, and I'm sure, you know, like any of us, like me, I'm new to streaming on YouTube, really new, and you know, we all learn as time goes on. So, you know, you got a new product, Microsoft Flight Simulator, you got to learn the tools. So who am I to be skeptical? But when I look at that, it's just like $12 though to pay that kind of money. It's like, I'll just stick with the default scenery, and when I see something that really looks good, then I might fork over some cash, but it's got to be good. Remember the tiles, like Microsoft Flight Simulator, like even FS10, you just had the same repeated tiles over and over again. There'd be like rural area tiles, and you know, and then there'd be city tiles, and that was like, oh, it was really cool when you had the actual more, I don't know what the term is. I'm missing it right now, sim fans, but you'd actually be able to see like the shorelines in higher detail. It wasn't mesh, but gosh, it was a scenery add-on, but you would have to pay for it. But you'd have like higher resolution. I'm going to say that's not the term I'm looking for, but you'd have like the coastlines would be more accurate, your rivers would be more accurate, but you'd still have the same kind of tile stuff. You know, your generic tiles. Well, of course, that wouldn't take storage, and it wouldn't take computations and I/O, so it made sense for the hardware at the time. That's what they do. But I look at this and I think, what, sim fans, what is this going to look like in 10 years or 5 years? What is this scenery going to look like? Because if it looks this good in 2021, 2020, it's sometimes kind of hard to fathom what it's going to be like in 5 to 10 years. If you can already go over your house and your house kind of resembles, I mean, it's not perfect, but it sort of resembles the basic structure of your home. If it can do that today, what is it going to do in 5 to 10 years? Just mind-boggling. And you know, Microsoft's not stupid. You know, this is like their flagship for Azure, and you know, and game streaming and stuff like that. And this truly is, to me, is a proven success so far. Let me know what you think, by the way, sim fans, of the throttle and flight control cam. Do you like it? Does that work? Should I be more zoomed in on it? Like, do you want to just see the Bravo throttle quadrant? I could even probably do like a spotlight on it and make it, because it's kind of dark right now. But yeah, let me know your thoughts if you like that. I've done various configurations. I have a gooseneck on this thing, so I can move it and configure it however you all want to see it. So I could pan it really close so you can see everything and just zoom in on the Bravo throttle quadrant, or I could zoom in on just the Alpha flight control. I have thought about getting an additional webcam and just focusing on the rudder pedals. So, but then I'm starting to lose real estate because I'm already taking up real estate with myself on here, and then the control cam, if I can call it that. But yeah, I'd be interested. Let me know what your thoughts are. Oh, let's see here. Ace Down One, just found you. Watched your intro to the new office. Glad I hadn't missed the live stream. Hey, thanks. Appreciate that. Thank you for commenting. Aces Down One. I gotcha. Aces Down One. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you, Aces Down One. Awesome. I would take it you're a poker player then. Thank you for commenting. But yeah, just, I got the second webcam here, so let me know what y'all think. And yeah, I do like the new studio setup. I'll call it a studio. It's just another room in the house with all the moving around we did over the past 5 days. But yeah, I do like the setup has worked out pretty nicely. So yeah, welcome to the stream. Well, we're up to 5. This is good for me. I'm relatively new to this, so if I have 5 of you flying around with me tonight, being this late, thank you. I appreciate you coming and joining me. Hopefully I can entertain you to some degree. Okay, thanks Aces Down One. So I'll leave the PIP cam in place of where it is right now, and good. Thanks for that feedback. I appreciate it. Blue skies to you. Blue skies. So yeah, it's. Ooh, that IPA is getting to me. If I start slurring, I haven't had that much, honestly. But yeah, when you're drinking a 20 ounce, I don't need. What is the ABV on this thing? 6%. Oh, am I a wuss? I've had more than that though, but yeah, it's good beer. Also a bourbon fan. I like the bourbon. Let's see, what else should we talk about, SimFan? Should I just shut up and we'll just enjoy the flight? I do a lot of talking. Sorry about that. But I figure that's what this is about, right? We just we chill out with maybe a beverage of choice. Doesn't have to be alcoholic, obviously. And just and fly and just chat. Climb to 10,000 feet, it'll be better. I first read that as 100,000 feet. It's like, next thing we're going to go to Mars and land. Yeah, that 10,000 feet. Actually, why don't I show you something? So, for those of you that are interested in the Bravo Throttle Quadrant, I've gone over this a few times. Can you see that? I don't think you can see. Give me a second. I'm going to turn up a light here, just a moment. I don't know if that helped. All right, I might have to work on that. I don't know if you can really, well, maybe you can see it a little bit better. But, so let's go ahead and climb to 10,000 feet. We've got time, right? Yeah, we've got time. So, on the Bravo Throttle Quadrant here, you can see we have a heading button, a nav button, which is, as you can see, is illuminated right now. We have an approach button, reverse course, altitude, vertical speed, and indicated speed. And what is great about this is you can, the only thing I would say that I need to give feedback to Honeycomb is there is a protruding line here on this dial that you can feel with your finger, but if I'm looking at it and it's dark, I can't see it. So you can't really tell what, this is the mode selector. So on the mode selector you have altitude and the same stuff that corresponds with these buttons. And the only thing I wish, and I could do this I suppose, is just paint like a white line there so you know what the heck mode selector you're on. That's the only gripe I have. I mean, and if that's the only gripe I have, really it's a huge success for a throttle quadrant. But so as long as you have your mode selector, so if we want to climb an altitude with this aircraft, of course it's going to depend on the aircraft, right? So So Ace is down. If we want to climb to 10,000 feet, we just switch this mode selector on the Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant. And see, I gotta look at a little closer because my eyesight's not so good. Vertical speed. So we hit vertical speed, and then I'm gonna go closer to our vertical speed indicator. So if you look at these are steam. We refer to these as steam gauges, and you probably know this. If I'm telling you something you already know, please forgive me. But this is for everyone. So you have a glass cockpit that you would see in like the TBM or more of the modern aircraft, but like this is often referred to as steam gauges. So now, right now, we're level flight because we're at 0. We're not climbing. We're not descending. So if you want to climb in the autopilot mode, so what we do is we switch it to vertical speed. Now all we got to do is hit the vertical speed VS button, and then notice right over here on our autopilot in the game, it's hard to see, but that says +2. So watch as I click the dial here up. So now we're climbing at 1,000 feet per minute, right? And so now if we go to our steam gauge, look at where our needle is. It's pointed at 1. So you probably know this is probably obvious stuff. But just, it's so great. It's just so easy to use. It's almost like, I don't know, I could almost get complacent using the auto throttle. But what I love about this is I used to have, I had a couple SciTech throttle quadrants with buttons, and I had a CH throttle quadrant on the left with buttons. And so I manually programmed those for all the autopilot stuff. But now it's all here, and it's like, at first I was like, well, I can't lose all these buttons. Oh, no, wait, I've got everything I need. There's all these switches here in the switch panel as well. To be honest, I've only got like these first 2 that I've set up, and one's for parking brake, and the other one I have for pitot heat. And for this general aviation aircraft, it's fine. Now, once there is something that's better in terms of, you know, a commercial airliner, I'll, you know, with an FMC flight management computer, I'll program more buttons on this, and there's a utility program. But anyway, I thought I'd show that. But all right, so Ace is down. We'll climb to 10,000 feet for you. How does that sound? So as we can see, we're at 5,000 feet, so we're halfway there. 6-pack, yeah. Yes. 6-pack indeed. Well, the thing is these cans are so big that it doesn't take long to get to a 6-pack. So, by the way, I've got another monitor here, and you're not seeing the frame rates. I got to figure out. It must be that because I'm running an Alienware monitor that's resolution is 3440 by 1440, and I've got OBS set up, but I'm guessing that it must just be off the screen. But right now, I've got a frame rate counter. We're at 37 frames per second. On the system I'm using. I've got pretty much medium graphic settings. So, you know, anything over 30 frames per second is good. As long as you can get over 30, I would say you're doing well. You know, the eye only sees, what is it, you know, 30-some frames per second, and so we're all so focused on, I've got to have, like, the newest video card because I'll go from 80 frames per second to 120, and it's more of the challenge. But are you going to see it? No, it's really when you hit the troughs, right? When you have a lot of stuff going on, you know, when you fly into a big city and you have a lot of textures and buildings and things like that, that's really what you're looking for, is the average frame rates, and not even just average frame rates, it's what are your lowest frame rates? And as long as your lowest frame rates never go below 30, there's no reason, in my opinion, there's no reason to upgrade your hardware. All right, Ace is down. I ordered the Alpha and Bravo as a package. Alpha was shipped, and I have it. Sweet. But the Bravo is on the way mid to late March as of last update. Oh, that's fantastic. Ace is down. You will love it, my friend. You will love it. There is, I was saying in another video that I posted a couple days ago, for the money, there is, and you know this now, what do you think of the Alpha? Did you get it set up? I assume you did. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, 6-pack. I was wondering about that. I was focused on the beer. So Ace is down says 6-pack was referring to the other name for steam gauges. I gotcha. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's good. That's good too, definitely. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I use about 30 frames per second. The biggest reason for more is in first-person shooters when you really need to see peripheral vision really helps. So yeah, I agree. And I was talking earlier, Aces Down. Yeah, I do play first-person. I was talking. I do play Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Did you hear that Battlefield 6 is coming out? So I'm looking forward to that. I've always been a big, huge Battlefield fan. I love Call of Duty, but it's not as team-focused as obviously as Battlefield. I was a little let down, to be honest with you, on the Battlefield 1. It was okay. But yeah, let's see what happens with Battlefield 6. Love the alpha. It's amazing. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You're good. If you love the alpha, wait until you get that Bravo. And I'll tell you, if you're getting it in March, that's good to hear, because as you can see, I pre-ordered mine. Actually, I had my alarm set for when Honeycomb was released. I actually pre-ordered both of my Alpha and my Bravo when each came out individually. That's cool that you got the set. How much did the set cost, by the way? I'm just curious. I assume 500, but if you got them both for 500, that's awesome. Yeah, but so I pre-ordered the Alpha, and I actually got the Alpha for 220 because during the time the Alpha, because it was the first release of any product from Honeycomb, right? And so they had a deal. If you pre-ordered, you could get it for 220. So save $30, which is cool, a little over 10%. And that was no problem. But when I went to order the Bravo, like most of us, and maybe some of you out there had the same experience, I literally, it came available, like to the minute, or maybe even to the second, I was like in the cart, and of course I typed my name and I put my credit card in there, and I'm like double checking my credit card number to make sure everything's okay. And I got it in my cart, and as soon as I say checkout, it says error and product not available. And I was really, really disappointed, and it like just sold out. And so, but Honeycomb made it right. They did another, they released it that same day. Later on in that day, they had several other, they reopened it, and they only allowed like one at a time, and they didn't let like the bots or people order multiple quantities. You could only get one per order. And so I was able to get my Bravo Quadrant that same day. It was later that evening when they reopened it. And I almost missed that, by the way. The only reason I saw that is I was going to the community on Honeycomb, and I saw that they had released it. They opened it up again. I was like, ooh. I jumped on, and I got on, I think it was week 4 production. So this is a week 4 production release. And so I ended up getting it, but there's so many of you that haven't been able to get it. And that's, yeah, you will. Just be patient. You know, it's easy for me to say because I have it, right? But you're going to get it at some point. It's just, but, you know, now they're coming out with the Charlie pedals, and that's awesome. We don't want to hold them back, but I know some of you are like, would you just, and I see your point, would you just run more products on your assembly line and get caught up with demand on the Alpha and the Bravo so that you have those in stock before running your lines on the Charlie pedals? I don't know, you know, that's one of those things, you know, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing. And, you know, because people want the Charlie pedals too, but I don't know. They're providing great products, so I'm not going to complain either way. Let's see. Not a huge FPS guy. Keep getting shot. Oh, don't worry about that. Ace is down. Just stick with it and keep playing. I'll tell you what. When I first went into Call of Duty, I got owned left and right. Now I can usually hold my own and be in the top half. Sometimes even the top. Yeah, it's one of those things where you just got to keep playing it and practicing it. That's funny because I agree. Like when I remember first jumping into Call of Duty, I was we're at 12,000 feet. I'm sorry, we went past 10,000. I was talking and we're over 12,000. At least we weren't descending. So by the way, if you want to stop climbing, all you got to do is go over here, hit the altitude button, and the altitude button will light up, the indicator light. By the way, Ace is down. You probably already know this. If you want the indicator lights to work when you get your Bravo throttle quadrant, make sure you download the utility from either Honeycomb or Aerosoft and put that in your community folder. It's like AC something underscore bridge.exe. I can't remember. It's like it's not ACS, but it's AC something underscore bridge.exe. You need to put that in your community folder for it to work. Not for the throttle to work, but for the indicator lights to work. You must have that in there. If you don't have that in there, you're going to be extremely going, what the heck? None of the lights are coming up. My gear lights aren't coming up. My indicator lights aren't coming on. So do make sure you get that utility. I have a video on that too, Aces Down, if you haven't seen it. So check that out if you want. I know you'll figure it out though. You don't need my help, I'm sure. But oxygen, yeah. Well, hey, we got stopped at 12,000, right? As long as we're under 12,500, we should be fine without supplemental oxygen. And I think if we go 12,500 to 15,000, then we need, as long as we're not over 12,500 for 30 minutes from my pilot training, if I'm remembering this right, we should be fine. But yeah, but you're right, we would need oxygen. If I would have forgot about it, we would have been passing out. Aces Down says, yeah, and the fix for the VS mode selector, if not fixed in the file when it, yeah. So you already know. That's good. Yeah, a lot of people had been frustrated. I could see in the community on Honeycomb, but so I decided I'm just going to post a video on how to fix that, and I posted it on the community, and I got a few thanks on it. And there's several others that did the same thing. This is a community thing. We're all hopefully here to help each other. I've learned a lot from all of you. That's why I decided to do this channel. I figured, with all the years of experience I've had with simming, I've gained a lot of knowledge from all of you, and I know there's a lot of you that are new to simming, and so I wanted to pay it forward and do this channel, and I've actually loved it more than I thought I would. I wasn't actually planning on doing this, and a buddy of mine that isn't a Aces Down, isn't a first-person shooters. He has a channel called Incredibly Meh, M-E-H. He's big into Call of Duty and does a really good job on his channel and producing videos, but he kind of nudged me into doing some of this because he knew how much I was into simming, and I thought, I like simming so much, and boy, if I can help other people out there and kind of pay that forward for those of you that are new to it, a lot of you, or I can learn from, the other thing is I knew I could learn from a lot of you just by being on YouTube, because who hasn't gone to YouTube or Googled something and found a YouTube video on how do I do XYZ? So yeah, I really honestly was not planning on doing a channel, building a channel, but as I got more into doing, and I'm still relatively new to this, so yeah, I make mistakes. I'm still learning. But I love that, the fans and the community, I've had obviously some, not too many. Honestly, I hadn't had many negative comments. There's been a few, but that's just going to happen. But most of you have been really respectful and great, and been thankful, and also been helpful, telling me how I can improve. But yeah, let's see, Aces Down. I've seen some mention the trim wheel, if bumped, will knock you out of altitude hold mode if autopilot. Have you seen? Well, let's try it. I haven't seen that yet. Let's see if. So it might. It's not doing it with this aircraft, Aces Down. You see, I'm rotating the trim wheel, but that's good to know. I hadn't heard that. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Aces Down says you're doing fine for now. Entertained. Well, cheers, my friend. Cheers to all of you. Again, thank you for joining me this late evening. I really appreciate it. I'm not lonely. You're keeping me company. I started out at 0. I'm like, I didn't even schedule this, and I don't have, I have 365 subscribers, and I don't know, I think I'm doing okay. I started really started this off in late December, late December. I actually changed my channel name. I probably had about 46 subscribers because I do homebrew, and I gathered some from homebrewing, but I hadn't updated. I hadn't done any videos for years. I'm like, this is getting stale. So I just changed the channel name and decided to, and deleted those videos and really decided to focus on simming, and not just on flight simming. I plan on, you've probably seen I've done a few videos on iRacing. I'm big into, well, I used to be big into iRacing, not so much anymore. When I got the Fanatec wheel, I got the CSL Elite version 1.1, the Club Sport pedals. I just got those devices back in December. I've been really spoiled. I'm very, very, very fortunate. But anyway, so I do like simming, obviously, but I like racing, but I have to do American Truck Simulator. I plan on posting a few American Truck Simulator videos and see how many views. I haven't gotten, there's so much iRacing videos. I post iRacing videos, and I get probably like, I don't know, you could see. I don't get that many views because there's just so much out there in iRacing that, I didn't expect to get much on there. But it's still fun to want to just diversify a bit. So my goal of the channel is to focus on Microsoft Flight Simulator. I do have a few videos on DCS. Some really older videos. Actually, those were ones before I even thought about focusing on Microsoft Flight Simulator and making it really a sim channel. But yeah, you can check those out if you want. Fly the F-16, the Falcon jet, and do some landings on that. I think DCS is an incredible simulator for combat simming. Oh, okay, 737, it happened on that. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Aces down. I see that you're probably grabbing a beer, so you're going to be back. Cool. Cheers. Yeah, yeah, I could definitely see that, because those, well, it should. They are actually probably should wait. I'll wait for Aces Down to be back. But yeah, the 737s and those commercial airliners are designed, if you move any of the flight controls to a certain extent, that they will disable the autopilot. So that's by design. So I could see that if you bumped the trim wheel, it would disable the autopilot. Yeah. So we're cruising around at 12,100, enjoying our flight. Let's see, how far are we away? Wow, time went fast. We're at 15 and a half minutes away. We'll need to begin looking at our descent profile here to fly into London City. What's the altitude of London City? Anybody know? What a bad pilot I am. I didn't even look and see what the altitude is of the airport I'm flying into. Let's see, altitude. Ah! As suspected, well, you are right by the water, right? I mean, the runway is right by the water, 20 feet. 20 feet. So typically your pattern altitude, right, on a VFR flight, if you're on instrument, for those of you who don't know, and a lot of you probably watching already know this, so bear with me, your pattern altitude is typically 1,000 feet above ground level. So when we start planning for our descent profile, we're going to need to lose, let's just say 11,000 feet. So if we're losing 1,000 feet per minute, which I like to do, I just round up because it makes it easier in my head to just calculate it. It's like, okay, so I know I need 11 minutes to descend at 1,000 feet per minute. That'll equal 11,000. I'll be at 1,000 pattern altitude. Right now, by the way, we're doing standard pressure, so it's 29.92. So if we look here, that's our altimeter setting. And we're set at 29.92. Standard pressure, because we got a picture perfect day, because we want to see the scenery. So I'm not doing live weather. So 11 minutes, but I like to add a minute, because I don't want to be like hitting my pattern altitude at the exact time that I'm getting to the airport. So, because I like to stabilize and level out before I get into the traffic pattern. So we'll start descending essentially 12 minutes out. I like to add like a minute, and then like, you know, you want to pull out some of the throttle. Hey, welcome back, Aces Down. Welcome back. Glad to have you back. Yeah, I was mentioning on the 737, and yeah, you're probably aware of this, but the commercial aircraft are set by design. If you hit the if you manipulate the controls past a certain distance, the autopilot should automatically disengage, and it will do that with the trim wheel as well. Now, if you said bump it, that doesn't seem right. So, yeah, maybe there'll be a fix for that, you know, if it's that touchy, because that would be bad. You wouldn't want to be just like nudging it a little bit and it disables autopilot. That would be annoying as all get out, right? So just talking about the descent profile. So here we're at 12 minutes. That's the beauty of GPS. We see our ground speed, our distance, and we see our estimated time of arrival. And so we're at 12:30. So I'll figure 1,000 feet per minute on descent. We need to lose 11,000 feet because pattern altitude should be at about 1,000 feet, 1,020 to be exact. And so, and then I add 1 minute. That's for me. That's just typically, I do that in real life. I just like to get my aircraft adjusted before I actually enter. You know, you never should enter traffic pattern above or below, because the whole idea is that you can see people to your left and your right and ahead of you. So, okay, so now that we're at 12 minutes, should still have that vertical speed. So let's go ahead and descend at the vertical speed. We're going to drop that down to -10, which would be a -1,000. We're going to pull some of the speed out. I like to look at what I'm doing on ground speed, right? So we're at a 156. So, as you probably know, when you start descending, you're going to gain airspeed, right? You're trading altitude for airspeed. That's why flying is so safe. If you lose your engine and you're at 11,000 feet, you can still go quite a ways as a glider, even without thrust. So you want to take that out. So I try to keep my ground speed, you know, I dropped a bit there, but I try to keep my ground speed fairly close so that I know my clock and the time I should arrive at my destination is going to still be true to my descent profile and the time it's going to take to get to the 1,000 feet, if that makes sense. Cheers, Aces Down. What did you get for a drink? Miller Lite, hey, that's okay. Hey, Miller Lite's cheap, but at least you didn't say like, oh, geez, drawing a blank, like Keystone Light or, you know, Schlitz or something like that. I haven't been drinking Pilsners for so long, being into the craft beer. I've kind of Busch Light. At least it's not Busch Light. That was the one I was trying to think of. You know, if I'm going to drink a light Pilsner or cheaper, I'd go with them. Miller Lite was my choice. Miller Lite, nothing wrong with that, my friend. Nothing wrong with that at all. I get it. So then you kind of spot check it. So now we're at 10,000 feet. So we're going to need to lose 9,000 feet, and we're at 9 minutes, right? So I'll probably adjust that as we get closer, but we're still tracking fine. We're still tracking fine, fans. Natty Ice. Oh, yes. That's it. Natty Ice. Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's definitely a bad one. Oh, boy. Yeah. We'll zoom in a little bit, see if we can see. Oh yeah, we can see London City. Definitely can see it. Here's another tip for you, sim fans, if you don't know this already. When you're on a descent profile, especially when you're coming in for a landing, big tip. Learn this in real life. have your threshold of your runway be approximately, well, of course it depends on the aircraft you're flying, right? But I learned in a Piper Warrior 151, naturally aspirated engine, 4-cylinder, hardly any power. Yeah, you don't want to fill that one up with adults on a hot day. You'll never get off the runway. Two adults, you're fine. But you want like about an inch above your dashboard right here, like the top of your at least with the Piper aircraft, you want like about an inch above. And at most aircraft, I think that's going to hold true actually. Like when I sim, I mean, obviously I haven't flown a 737 in real life, but even when I'm simming with a 737, like an X-plane with the Zebo, like if I'm coming in for an approach, you know, if I don't have the ILS and, you know, all that mode selected, you know, if I'm hand flying it in, that still holds pretty true. Hey, thank you. Were you the one that did that? Because I saw somebody that posted about the two Alienware 34 inches for my wife to you know, be convinced. Thank you. I appreciate that, Aces Down. I'll check that out. I saw one comment about it 10 minutes after, and so if you commented on top of that, or if that was you, thank you. And if you commented on top of that, thank you. More comments I get on that, I'll have to show her that. She did chuckle. I showed the first comment. So if that was you, that's awesome. But even if it wasn't, more comments the better, my friend. More comments the better. I got a pretty good wife. She actually got the 34-inch for me a couple Christmases ago. So she's supportive of my hobby, and it does take me away from the family life. But that's why I do it late at night, and I gotta join all my friends here and doing this. And all right, second comment. All right, well, thank you, Aces Down. I appreciate that. Blue skies to you. Thank you so much. That's funny. I'm gonna show her that tomorrow morning when she's up. She's crashed. She's out. Obviously, 11:47. Yeah, she's out by like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. She likes to sleep, which is actually good because I'm a night owl. I'll stay up until like 12:30, 1:30 in the morning, and I mean I've always been that way. You know, back in the you know, the days I was in a rock band and I played the drums, and I would be out. I'd be up until like 3:30 in the morning with the band members, and yeah, I won't go into those stories, but yeah, those actually, Aces Down, those were the days of Miller Lite, to be honest with you. Those were the days. Those were the days of Miller Lite and Busch Light and Natty Light. All right, Sim fans, how are we doing on our descent profile here? We've got 4 minutes, 43 seconds. And we have, what, 5,500, so we have 4,500 to lose. So we're going to drop it down a little bit more. So it's just easy. Go over here, knock this notch down 2 more. We'll be down to 1,200. We'll take a little throttle out to slow down. I'm going to try to keep the six pack, right? I'm going to try to keep the manifold pressure above 1,500, because if I drop it under 1,500 for this Piper Seminole, it'll start chirping, barking at us. It'll blow our eardrums out, and I really don't want to do that to any of you. And I'll probably say that, and I will end up doing it. But look at, oh, just beautiful. Look at that. Look at London City and all the buildings in its full glory. Photogrammetry and textures with our new World Update 3. I am pumped about this. That's what I love about Sobo. They keep developing and enhancing this thing, and they should. They should. I mean, this is one of the nice things about, you know, software as a service. You've probably heard of it that way. You know, when you pay a subscription like Xbox Game Pass. Now you can buy the software and own it, obviously, but you know, it's not such a bad model. Originally, I thought, you know what, if I buy a piece of software, I want to own it and keep it forever, and you can still do that here, and it'll still be updated, which is good. But, you know, and that's why a lot of times it's not like really any versions. I mean, I don't even think, like, I know it's referred to as MSFS 2020, but I often just refer to it as Microsoft Flight Simulator, because it's just like, it's going to continuously be updated. It shouldn't. I mean, there's like builds and versions, like the 1.16.13.0. I think I got that right, which this latest build is. $12.47. Oh boy. Oh, bands, I hear you. Sang and play guitar. Good old days. Nice. Nice, Aces Down. That's awesome. Oh yeah. I tried guitar. I could play a little bit, but I just, yeah, drumming was my thing. I never really got good at guitar, but I did okay playing the drums. But that's awesome, man. 12:47. Oh yeah, so you're on the East Coast, or over that way anyway. Florida, you might have said. So we're coming in here. Look at the jet take off. Woohoo! All right, let's call Linden City here. See what runway they want us to land on here. Call the tower, and we'll request a full stop landing.
City Tower Golf, Bravo Golf, Charlie Papa is 6 miles west with Sierra to land.
Bravo Golf Charlie, Papa City Tower. Fly left downwind runway 27. Altimeter 29.902 with 272 entry.
So we're gonna go left downwind 270. I'm gonna set my Aces Down. You're gonna love this. Set your heading bug, as you probably know. Set to your runway you're gonna land on.
27 Golf, Charlie Papa.
Ah, look at that, Sim fans. That's kind of, yeah. Again, I have my graphics set at medium, so by the way, right now I'm at 16 frames per second, so that's terrible. That's terrible. All right, so it might be still loading some textures, because when I flew out of here last night, it wasn't that bad. All right, so we're gonna go mixture full, prop full. We're gonna turn off the autopilot master. We're gonna bank to the right, because we're gonna enter left downwind for runway 27. So obviously left downwind, we're gonna be going perpendicular to that runway at London City, just off to our left. I'm gonna enable track IR so we can look around, pan around our aircraft. It makes it a little easier to see where we're going. So there's our runway, fans. I'm gonna trim a little bit down because we're gaining some altitude. I told you I'd do it. To drop the gear. That's the other beautiful thing, right, about the Honeycomb Bravo quadrant. Like you can see, I've got one green and then the nose gear and the right gear lit up green. That's so fun. Let's get it slowed down more. See, now I'm not gonna blow out your eardrums. Just got my gear down. Go outside. Look at that. So sweet. Put a notch of flaps in. Oh, I'm not doing so well on this pattern altitude. I'm going outside and not paying attention to what my altitude is. Sorry about that. All right. Get set up for landing here. Get my feet on the rudder pedals. So what I like to do is when I'm
Papa cleared to land runway 27. With 272 entry.
London City Airport information, Sierra 14. Cleared to land runway 27 Golf.
So now we're going to start dipping down. You know, I want to be about 500 feet when I enter base to final. It's called base to final. That's about 45. I'm going to go down a little bit because I'm a little high. We're just going to bank to the left. Put in some left rudder so we don't slip. Get track IR if you don't have it already. Sim fans, seriously. I like it better than VR too. Because I've got these controls. Do a second notch of flaps. And a little bit low. And 1200 manifold on the manifold pressure is good for this plane. But yeah, get track IR. The reason I like track IR better than doesn't seem quite right on the Pappy, does it? They should be 4 red there. That doesn't seem right. Anyway. Yeah, there's something broken there. Because the height that we're at right now, Sim fans, those shouldn't all be red on the right there. I'm telling you right now. So we got all our flaps down. And then when we get to the threshold, about right now, take the throttle all the way out. Start trimming. Look at that plane underneath I just flew over. Again, the beauty of simming. I can still land even though he's down there. There we go. Landed. Pretty smooth. Obviously a bunch of people flying around London City now with this World 3 update, right? Gonna kick off the strobes, we can kick off the landing, turn on the taxi. Slow down.
Charlie, pause the turn next taxiway.
Oh, missed my turn there.
Golf Charlie, pause the contact ground on 121.83.
All right, we'll contact ground.
Going to 121.83.
We're just gonna park right here. Is that all right? Is that doable? This works, right? Okay. So I'll flip the parking brake on. Turn off the pitot heat. Disable track IR so I don't make you dizzy. Obviously, you want to turn off your nav lights, your taxi lights. Leave the beacon on. Our engine's still running. Turn off the avionics. Important before you shut down the engine. Then pull out the prop and pull out the mixture. And there you have it. All right. Well, we didn't crash. We didn't die. I do appreciate all of you joining. We're up to 6, so thank you for joining. Ace is down. I do appreciate all the comments. Let's see, you had a couple more here. You're in Rhode Island. Okay. If I weren't, let me see here. If it weren't so close to the end of your flight, I'd ask what server you were on. Join you. Oh, that would have been cool. Maybe next time. Yeah, please. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try to let all of you know when I'm going to be live streaming. This was just kind of a spur of the moment. I thought about live streaming, but I didn't know. Got a lot of stuff going on this weekend, so I didn't know if I'd live stream. And then I was just like, you know what? Wife's in bed. I'm wide awake. I feel like a few beers. I'm going to live stream. So yeah, definitely watch for that. Aces Down. Would love to fly with you sometime, and the rest of you. That would be fun. You also said Foster's Australian for oh crud. I messed up the pattern. Yeah, the Pappy should have had more white on it. I agree. That was pretty crazy. So they probably have to fix that. By the way, probably many of you noticed Orbix has a big sale now on the London City landmarks, and that, of course, right? But anyway, hey, Ace is down. Do appreciate you joining me. Thank you, my friend, for joining me, and thank you all the rest of you. Several of you are still on. I see there's 4 others. I do appreciate you joining me. Please smash the thumbs up if you haven't already. Do subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'm trying to build the channel and making a channel for all of us, and hopefully providing entertainment, information, and try to do some more reviews. I've only done a couple scenery reviews. I need to do some aircraft reviews, and so watch for those. But again, have a great weekend. Thank you for joining me once again, and as always, blue skies and take care. See you soon.